Oh. No. Oh. Oh my god. Oh. Damn. I did it. No way. That's awesome. That's Oh. Gotta wipe the spit off my screen. Okay, there we go. There we go. I did it. Wow, that feels good. That's not my UFO anymore. Alright, 2, 3, 6, 4 plus. Whoa! I'm gonna be talking about Fishe, which is a level that I just beat. Happy to beat it. I just want to go over the level, talk about some tips and tricks, what I thought of different parts, how it felt playing from zero, and just give some information about the level in case anybody's interested in playing it. So, first cube. It's nothing too bad. The only big gripe that I have with it is the timings. They're kind of forgiving, but if you're not paying attention or you're not really locked in, you can die there over and over, which normally isn't a problem for a geometry dash level. You know, you should be focused the whole time. But I found myself having a lot of difficulty focusing, because once I got closer and closer to beating the level, I was so fed up with the super slow beginning that I was just ready to, I was just ready to be done with the beginning. It gets pretty tedious playing from zero once you get close to beating the level, but it's not too bad. And if you just kind of, I guess, stay calm and confident, you'll stay consistent. It's not terrible. Next up is the wave part, which isn't too bad. So you can slide on that first block. You can slide on that block, the bottom middle of these. So it's a little more forgiving than it looks, but this mini release right here, I found that was the most annoying part of the wave for me, because it's relatively tight. It is just one release, so it's nothing terrible. But the most annoying part is that sometimes you would go down like maybe halfway, and you would still clip into a block and die, even though you did make it into the corridor. So that can get pretty frustrating. Definitely practice that release. This next part where you have to release here isn't too bad, because you get to slide on the roof and on the bottom. So it's not bad. Now the UFO is probably one of the harder parts of the level in my opinion, although I am wave carried. So click, 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 click. So that's not terrible, although I do want to say that this green orb timing, that double click I just did at the pink orb to get through this gap, not terrible. But the green orb, I don't know if you can, that's a part that didn't get fully consistent for me by the time I beat the level. I was always, not always, but sometimes, you would click too early, and you could mess up and click miss the gap and hit the top spike or the bottom spike. It wasn't a very forgiving timing. Clicking that black orb into the pink orb is fine. I never die there. And then you get to rest on this platform and kind of reset yourself. So tap, 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 tap. So the next hard part was this blue orb. If you click on the blue orb too early, you'll hit this spike. If you click it at the right time, but then the next click is too early, you hit this top spike. So it's kind of similar to the green orb. It's not that forgiving, and it's definitely something you'll have to practice going into the level. But it's not terrible, but dying there is pretty frustrating, especially because, you kind of want to click quickly coming out of that, because it's almost like, it's kind of similar. It's not a double click, but it's definitely 2 clicks in quick succession. But you do have to wait a split second before you go and do your second click. And then from here, you can hold the dash orb the whole time, or I would just click it on it for just a second and do another jump. You know, whatever feels comfortable. You know, you can definitely hold it if you like it, but I just liked doing that. It felt more consistent for me. Now, the gaps in between these mines, they're actually pretty forgiving. There's a lot of space in between them, even though I keep dying. And then this here, when the mine opens up, you have here, I'll go with hitboxes. You have a lot more space than you'd think. You know, it's not really like, it's very easy. But what you do have to get good at is getting a good click pattern so that you can set yourself up to go up and up like that. So I do 1, 2, 3, like, and on the third click, I would hold and go up. 1, 2, 3. And just 2 kind of light, 2 short holds would usually get you up and through that. But it is easy to die there. I died there a handful of times, but it was nothing where I felt like I had to go back into practice mode. So now this is the hardest part of the ship coming up. It's getting in between these 2 big mines. So for me, I found that finding a music cue and just holding whenever that happened worked out best for me, because it felt really hard to do it otherwise. And then as you go into the next part, you don't want to click this green orb too soft, because you'll hit the bottom and it's tough to straighten up. You want to click it and hold for just a smidge of a second. So, you know, you hold it too long, you obviously are probably going to hit the top spikes. Too short, and you're going to hit the bottom spikes. It's not impossible to correct yourself there if you hit it too short, but it's difficult. And then these little straight flies, like, oh, you don't even have, whoa, you don't even have to click once you get into there. Watch this. Not clicking. I didn't know that. I always clicked. Okay, well, you don't have to click there. That's nice to know. Now, this wave part is probably going to be the biggest choke point for a lot of people who aren't wave carried. But that's just my opinion. I found that the best path was to wait a split second and go up like that. And take this path. Yeah. Yeah. So to take that path to go in. Because I've seen people do this, but that's a lot more clicking. And if you're not very good at the wave, it might be a lot more difficult. But this is just the part that you have to practice a ton, and you have to get used to the click pattern there. Like that last part, where you're going in between those 5 spikes, it's just a click consistency thing, so it gets surprisingly consistent. Even though I would consider myself better at the wave than I am at all other game modes, I found that clicking consistently got me through that a whole lot more than I thought I would get through it. I thought that would be a pretty big choke point of the level, but once I practiced it a lot, I really didn't find myself dying there that often. I mean, I had entire sessions where I would maybe get past that part 5 times in a row and have a shot at the end. There's a secret trigger up here if you want to make the fish happy. Oh. Oh. I want to click it. And now the last cube. So, the first part I'd give a tip on is coming up. So right here, this flower, click a little bit after that flower and you'll get through there pretty consistently. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to go too early or to go too late. It's not a forgiving timing. This next part. So you can jump on the edge of the block and hit all the orbs, or you can jump late and hit the pink orb. There we go, that's what that is, and then that's what it is to click late. I found that I liked jumping on the edge of the block, because getting onto that block is it's pretty easy to do. There's a lot of space. This is a lot of quick clicks in succession with timing, so this is something you'll want to practice a decent bit. That dashboard is very easy. So now these clicks, you can click too late here, and you can also click too early or too late on the last jump right here. It's easy to click too late there or too early. Too early, you can even hit your head. Oh, whoops. Big tip for this level is to practice your micro clicks, or your small jumps with the robot. You know, that's something that is in the beginning, middle, and end of the level. Or not the middle, the beginning and end of the level. But this isn't too bad. This click, a little scary because it's the end of the level, but it's not too bad. I did die there once or twice. Now this next part, you can do it the legit way, which is where you jump into the portal and do that, or you can do what I did and just jump over the portal. Oh, I found that was easier. Just watch out because the portal hitbox isn't, it's not that small. It does extend a little bit past, so it's easy to clip that. So, but you have a lot of room, so big jump, and then easy jump through that blue orb, then micro click again, which is a little scary. And now this part. This part is very intimidating at first, but it's easy once you get consistent. It's very scary. I was very scared, but just practice it over and over and use the music as an audio cue for when to click. That's really the best advice that I can give, is to use the audio cues to click. And also, it does flash, so that does help a little bit. Don't expect to pass it your first time. I didn't. It took me 3 tries until I got it, which is really frustrating at first, but it's intimidating, and just don't be scared of it. Yeah, that's about it. Overall, I would say that I really enjoyed this level. I think it's pretty unique. I really like the song. I think that the song goes well with the gameplay. I would give it 8 out of 10 overall, and it would be higher if I didn't dislike the beginning so much, because it does kind of drag on after playing for a while.